Hey Megan, what's up? I just finished watching your video. I'm currently taking a break from writing a paper for my English class. Oh my god, those books sound so terrible. I couldn't believe some of the stuff. Sexy alpha male. I, I gotta tell you, I would love to find me some sex, blah, blah, sexy alpha male wolf man, and we're gonna run away together. Actually, it's gonna be a great. You know, you'll be a bridesmaid at the wedding and feast on my sexy alpha male wolf husband, fiance, whatever. Oh my God, really? Like that's that's what people are reading. I can't. And see, the thing about Stephanie Meyer that really pisses me off is she's either a freaking genius or b dumb as shit and can't write a book. And let's face it, you can't write those books and not tell me and convince me otherwise that you were not the fat chick who was constantly alone, who had no friends, who had no self-esteem, and so she decided to create this perfect, I guess, life for herself and who she thought she wanted to be with. And and I have a problem with Twilight because it's telling girls that it's okay to be dissatisfied with yourself and to think, God, my life sucks because my parents are divorced, I have no personality, I have no emotions other than what people tell me to think or do, i.e., vampire boyfriend. And oh yeah, like she's not happy until she has somebody in her life. And not only does she has somebody in her life, and then she gets somebody in her life. She finds that we're whatever, they're happy, they're in love. And then he goes off and does his own little. I only read the first book, Megan. I'm sorry. I tried to read the second one, but I got through the first maybe 2 or 3 chapters before I closed it and said, no, I can't take it anymore. Um, okay, she has Edward, fine, whatever. He's a creeper because he sits there and watches her sleep at night, and he loves watching her sleep, which I would have a problem with because that's stalker. He's 100 and what is it? 180? He's 180 years old, and he's creeping into her bedroom and watching her sleep, and she's strangely okay with this. But once he leaves, because he's a vampire and his family is they're vampires, so obviously they can't stay in one place for long before people go, why are they not aging? Well, but once he leaves, I'll eventually get to my point here. Once he leaves, she is depressed and sad and can't go on with her life. But then she finds a filler boy. She finds a backup and says, oh, Jacob, you're my hero. You came into my life when I had nobody, and my boyfriend, well, he left me because he can't stay, but now you're here and you like me, so you can be my filler until he comes back. And the girls are supposed to follow this example. Really? No, that is not supposed to. That is not how a relationship works. Okay, you can't do that. You can't. You can't be just like, God, the love of my life left me, but there's this other guy here and he seems to really like me, so I'll just settle for him and be with him for a little while and fall in love with him, and I'll love 2 guys. Actually, she doesn't really love 2 guys. But see, Jacob doesn't know he's none the wiser. Poor Jacob is sitting off to the side, madly in love with this chick when she's madly in love with somebody else, and then she plays him and says, I'm in love with you. I think that's what she says. I don't know. I don't pay attention. But she leads him on to think that, she actually likes him and she's into him when she's really not. And then once Edward comes back, Jacob's pushed off to the side and said, oh, sorry, love of my life is back. What are you gonna do? But, you know, you can't, I mean, sorry, my screen went black for a second. I mean, you can't do that. And it's telling girls that this is okay. This behavior is okay. That behavior is not okay. I am not okay with that behavior, Megan. And Stephanie Meyer has created characters that girls who have, like, again, no self-esteem, no self-respect, no respect for other people in their lives, i.e. guys. I mean, I'm sure guys do not appreciate if a girl were to say, oh God, the love of my life left me, but until he gets back, I will be with you, and then I'll leave you as soon as my love comes back to me. That's not fair. That's not fair at all. I would hate it if somebody did that to me. Come on now. So, but Stephanie has created characters that are so, it's so easy to project yourself into the main character of Bella. I mean, Bella has no personality, and she was created in such a way that girls can project themselves into this character and say, wow, she's so much like me, or I'm so much like her. That's why Stephanie Meyer can get away with this, is because she's created characters where you can project your life into their lives. If that makes any sense. I'm sure I could come up with, if I really sat down and thought about it, I could come up with more eloquent ways to say it than that. But point being, that's it. I mean, that's all there is to it. And these girls are just eating it up, and these Twilight crazy fangirls are eating it up and living it up in this world that Stephanie has created for them. And like I said, you know that Stephanie was that fat chick who sat in the corner of the cafeteria with no friends whatsoever, and she had poor self-esteem issues, and she had some daddy issues, I'm sure. But yes. And as far as those books that you were reading off, I can completely agree with you. I haven't read any of the ones that you mentioned at all, actually. Because, I mean, I was reading books like To Kill a Mockingbird back in elementary school. So, and I'm currently attempting to get into The Divine Comedy by Dante as soon as I finish my class readings. I'll be working on that one, and then moving on to Paradise Lost. But, oh, since we're talking about authors, random fact for the day, Henry David Thoreau, famous author's last words and quotes, Henry David Thoreau, right before he died, his last words were, "Moose, Indian." I'm convinced that those years spent at Walden kind of messed with his head. And if we're on the topic of Thoreau, let me just point out that Thoreau was a huge hypocrite because, okay, yes, he was this transcendentalist thinker, and he was like, we must get back to nature, when in actuality, even though he lived at Walden, he only lived a few miles out of town, and he actually went back into town on a fairly regular and consistent basis to go get the paper and to catch up on the latest gossip. So, Mr. Thoreau, I'm sorry, but I can't buy into your ideals of getting back to nature when you yourself couldn't actually stay in nature and you had to go back into town to get your gossip for the day, every day. Yeah. Anyway, I am going to go and work on my paper and read some more. And I will vlog you probably soon because I have some other stuff that I can bounce off of if we're going on the book rant. And actually there are some things that... Anyway, I will vlog you later. Megan, I love you and miss you, and I will talk to you soon.